Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.
Everyone, and welcome to the holiday edition of Sportsline Trivia. Mike Pavlik with you tonight. Bob Tattern is off, so George Guido joins us this evening. And George, good evening and welcome. Looks like it's storming outside, and so we get a perfect night to be in.
Yes, be in and give us a call. We're on live and streaming video-wise at 724-236-0430. Mike, rarely do we get to come on and talk about a Pirate game.
Yeah, because there aren't any Monday day games anymore. And this is and a good job by Major League Baseball today. Just about every game but two was in the daytime today. So they wanted to, you know what? Because they were afraid. They wanted to get everything out of the way because they know that the Pitt game is going to take the nation by storm tonight. So at least for the first
quarter and a half.
Yeah, 20 minutes. So all the games, many games were played today, and it's been a good day for the Pirates already. The Pirates won 5-2 at Milwaukee. Another great game by Charlie Morton. He's moved his record to 7-3, which. I had a theory on Charlie. Let's see what you think about this. My theory on Charlie Morton is that we've had all these pitchers that have had great first halves, and Charlie's been one of them. And since he was delayed starting his season because coming off of the surgery, he's actually having his first half when we needed it the most. And he's really picked up the slack for some of those guys, and it's been, I believe we're up to 5 or 6 good starts in a row for him.
His record is 7-3, and there's a chance that he could get to double digits in victories, which was unheard of, or something people weren't even thinking about that when he first came off the disabled list in June.
And another thing, and I don't think any of us would have ever thought this too, that if they actually are fortunate enough to get to a playoff series and not just one game, that you want him pitching and you want him in the rotation.
Yeah, maybe a game 3 or something.
Maybe. So a lot of it's going to depend on where they fall at the end of the year. And who they need to pitch to get to where they're trying to go. They're going to make the playoffs. I said that last week and nearly was struck by lightning in here. They're going to watch, but I think they're going to make the playoffs. So the next question is, are they going to? Is it going to be a division or not? And with that in mind, today Cincinnati at home dispatched of the Cardinals, big. And two important things happen in this game. First of all, Adam Wainwright got crushed again. This is two times in a row he got pounded against Cincinnati. And I believe 3 of his last 4 starts or 4 of his last 5, he's gotten hammered pretty good. I think the only win he has in that, or the only game that the Cardinals won in the midst of that, was the one game in St. Louis they played against the Pirates. The Pirates scored on them early, and that ended up being the game that went 74 innings or whatever when Marte dropped the ball. That was one. Those are good things that happen. And you hate to root for injuries, but if they're going to come, you take them. Yadier Molina left the game with an injured wrist, and he is their MVP and maybe the National League. And I would say if they voted right now, would be the National League MVP. Just listen to some players. Right. So getting him out of there might help the Pirates too. They play 4, so they have 3 more games in Cincinnati, and this is going to be interesting. The Pirates play the Cardinals this weekend. After that's over, on Sunday, the Cardinals are done with the Reds and the Pirates.
Right. And every team the Cardinals play after Sunday is under 500.
They have games against the Rockies and
Cubs
and whoever. So, it's going to be and I said this: if the Cardinals are ahead when the Pirates leave town on Sunday, I think they're going to win the division. Yeah. But if not, it's going to be a tough road for them to try to catch up, because even a game 2 or 3 lead right now is huge, because it's hard to make ground up when there's only. We're less than 4 weeks now. Yeah. We're right at the end. Yeah.
So, if you're unfamiliar with our show, you maybe offer the holiday. We are on streaming video every Monday night. Then the show is videotaped for replay at 8:30 Thursday evening. So, Mike, let's talk about the rules and regulations, particularly for some new viewers that might be coming on.
For anybody out there, you can win a prize once every other week per household. It's household address. You can win the Grand Salami Prize or the Mystery Profile only once a calendar month. If you call and you want to try one of those, just ask. We'll explain them to you. Pretty self-explanatory once you get to them. They're a little harder, but the prizes are a little better. Multiple choice, you get 15 seconds. The salami question, you get 20, and the Mystery Profile goes clue by clue. And there are a graduated scale there. First-time callers, if you're out there, being a holiday and all, 2 or more prizes with the correct answer. And again, 724-236-0430 is the number. Go to doubledribblebob.com. That's Bob Tattern's website. All the good stuff is on there. He has plenty of good stories. And if you sift a little bit, you'll find answers to what we ask here. We arm you. And Bob's radio show every Saturday morning at 9:10 WAVL at 10 a.m. on the AM dial again, which we listened to the Pirates on AM on the way out today.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. A little different,
a little old school nostalgia. Yeah. The only problem was Bob Prince wasn't coming out of the radio.
True.
That would have made it nice. So line them up. We have a couple extra open lines for you. We have some people in the audience, and we'll have plenty to talk about tonight. We're going to have baseball. We have football. We're going to want to get everybody's prediction on what the Steelers' record is going to be and see who comes the closest. Maybe we'll even have a little something for you if you're the winner. We'll run a little contest here. Maybe we have to come up with some sort of tiebreaker, George, maybe to see if we have a tie, because I think a lot of people will be guessing in the same vicinity. So yeah. We'll see how that works. So let's take our first break of the evening. We have a call ready to go, and we have room for you if you want to get in, as we are laboring on Labor Day. 724-236-0430. We'll take our first break, and we'll be right back.
This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman Dre in Arnold.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. Stop up to 31 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the new Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Tarentum and Freeport Road in Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
At Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox, you have the luxury of choice. Where you buy your vehicle is just as important as what you buy. Call Mike Fanto and let Tower Auto Sales, with 40 years of service now, their experienced sales staff will help you with the purchase of your next pre-owned vehicle. Remember the slogan at Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. That's Tower Auto Sales, Freeport Road in Blawnox. Phone 412-828-6202.
Okay, we have a call ready to go, lined up, and first in the box. You are first tonight on Sportsline. Good evening.
Hey, how's it going, Mike?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, I want to ask you a question. Do you believe me that Cincinnati has a tough schedule with St. Louis, and then after that they go to L.A., and then back to Pittsburgh again? Do you think that they have the toughest schedule?
I think the Reds do. Yeah, the Cardinals is the easiest, and the Pirates is somewhere in the middle. The thing about the Pirates is 6 of the last 9 games are going to be against the Reds, so those are going to be difficult. And then the 3 games at Texas, which are really the wild card in a really bad spot. I don't like those. Those come up early next week at the end of this 9-game trip. But they'll have an 11-game homestand with 4 of them against the Cubs and 4 of them against San Diego. So, you're going to have to, at this point in the year, you just have to win these games. You have to win the greater majority of these games if you really want to get somewhere. And it was nice to see them win today, because now they've won 3 out of 4. They kind of got shut down yesterday, but you really can't say that was on them. That was just a bad situation.
Right.
So hopefully, you know, they start to play a little bit better. I wanted to see them start this road trip the way they did when they went to the coast a couple weeks ago, when they won those first 2 games in San Diego.
They won 3 out of the first 5 on the road out west. And boy, when's the last time that happened?
Well, they've had a pretty good record in the Western Time Zone this year.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. When they have a good year, there's usually a good West Coast trip around it. That's usually in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And that first trip they made when they went to Anaheim and Seattle, that's when they had their long winning
streak.
streak.
They were 5 out of 5,
Yeah.
and then that kind of counteracts that early road trip at Dodger Stadium and in Arizona they won, but at Dodger Stadium they lost 3 in a row early this
Well,
season.
who would have ever thought when they left LA, they were 1-5.
1-5, yeah.
That first week it was pretty bad, and Locke got killed that first Sunday there into Dodger Stadium, and I mean, you didn't think things were going to go so well, but it's turned around here, and they are 23 games over 500. Is that what it is? Yeah. Arizona's losing right now.
That was their 23rd. They won today. They won their 80th ball game. Yeah.
Yeah, it was one more for the 500 season, and 2 more for the first winning season since. I mean, there are a lot of people not born that weren't born the last time that are Pirate fans. Right? I'll tell you what. I was at the game Saturday night, Mike, and the youngsters that were there are unbelievable. That the kids are having such a great time, and everybody waving the flags and having. I mean, it was, you know, it was hard to believe you were at a Pirate game. There's definitely some atmosphere, and you've had big crowds like that on Saturdays for fireworks before. But the thing about this one was they were all watching the game and paying attention to every pitch, which is nice. So.
And there's very few St. Louis people there. In the past, when there'd be a big weekend crowd at PNC Park, it was in part because the other team would bring people in travel-wise, be it St. Louis, Chicago, or Philadelphia. But now you're not seeing that anymore on the weekends.
There were some there, and there were a handful in the section that I was in. And the one that I always say that, and a couple sat down right in front of me. I said, "Well, I know I don't have to worry about you people because you're about the least obnoxious road fans that there are."
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah.
The Cardinals fans are fine. Even when they're pounding us, they're not idiots about it.
Right. They love baseball.
And they can appreciate. And they were saying that they're happy. That I mean, America's rooting for them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I remember too, Mike and George, when I was growing up as a teenager, when I was in junior high school, and way before that, they used to have a lot of doubleheaders, 4th of July, Labor Day, Memorial Day. Now they don't have them anymore, and they used to pack them in that way too.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, we were talking about, oddly enough, you bring that up, we had a block party in the neighborhood that I live in this afternoon. I left there to come up to the studio. And we were talking about the good old Labor Day doubleheaders. They would start at 10:30 in the morning. And back then, the games were only like 2 hours and 15 minutes, maybe 2 hours and 25 minutes. And they'd start at 10:30, and you'd be back in New Kent or Lower Borough like at maybe 5 in the afternoon, maybe 5:30. Now, you know, you go to a doubleheader with a time in between doubleheaders, you're talking about 7 hours, you know, sitting in one stadium. And, you know, that's just something that's not happening today, but boy, those were the days, and they had a lot of scheduled doubleheaders on Sundays and holidays.
What's that, Mike?
Do you think they'll come back with that again, George? The you know, doubleheaders they used to have.
I don't think it'll ever come back because now they split them up because they want to get the 2 gates.
Yeah.
And the Pirates, I'll tell you what, next year now, it's going to be hard to get a ticket down there. And any doubleheaders that they end up having are going to be day-night doubleheaders. It's just the way it's. They did it the first year at PNC Park. I was at one of them.
Yeah.
The game that Brian Giles hit that. Yeah. So, but I'll tell you what. I remember this one. This was probably 1976. I could look it up just to make sure. But they played the Phillies, and it was one of those 10:30 Labor Day doubleheaders. And Bruce Keeson, I think, pitched one game, and Larry Demery pitched the other game. The Pirates swept the doubleheader against the Phillies, and Dave Parker had a big day, and. You know, they were making a charge then, as they usually did in the 70s. Even though the Phillies would win, the Pirates would always put that charge on late in the year to give them a little bit of a scare. But I remember that, and back in Lower Borough at Grandma's house, and plenty of time for the cookout. I mean, we had no problem there.
I remember, too, Mike, in 1978, where they just got down to the wire, and Phillies beat out the Pirates that year in 1978, and then 79, they went on to win it all.
Yeah, in 78, there was a Friday night, twilight doubleheader. The last weekend of the regular season, the Pirates had to win all 4 games to tie the Phillies and force a 1-game playoff, but it didn't quite pan out that way. The Pirates did win that doubleheader. Then the Saturday afternoon game, they lost it to the Phillies. 10-8, I think, was the final score. Then Sunday, it was a meaningless game, but the Pirates came back and won that one, so they couldn't quite do it. But that Friday night doubleheader in September of '78, I'll just never forget that.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah, if they would have won that extra game, I think they would have won it, you know.
Oh, yeah, they had the momentum then.
And they had Candelaria going on Sunday,
Yep.
who just owned the Phillies, and the Phillies knew that they basically had to win that Saturday game, or they were going to probably lose Sunday and have to play the one-game playoff.
Yeah, and they would have had to play, they'd had to have Candelaria beat them, and then the one-game playoff, I think Bert Blyleven was scheduled to pitch.
Rested and ready to
so,
go.
you know, the Phillies knew they were in trouble.
Big time. All right, Mike, you ready? Before we go to trivia, Mike, what is your record for the Steelers this year?
Oh, boy, let me see. They lost 4 straight. I'll say 8-8.
Okay, 8-8. We're going to have Bob is in at 9-7. George and I will give ours a little bit later, but so I think we're going to have a lot that are going to be right in that area. I don't know about you, but I think we're going to have I don't know we're going to have too much of a disparity. All right, Mike, what do you want to do? Multiple choice?
Yeah.
All right, George, why don't you?
All right,
take the
let's
first
get a
one.
multiple choice here for
Starting
Mike.
with
First
two.
one of the evening, and it's a football question, Mike. What Pro Football Hall of Famer scored 30 or more points in a game the most times? Your choices are Jimmy Brown, Don Hudson, Ernie Nevers, or Paul Horning. 4
Paul
NFL
Horning,
greats.
Paul Horning, I think he was quarterback. I'll say Brown.
Jimmy Brown, no, I'm afraid that's the wrong answer. It is Paul Horning, who scored 30 or more points in a game the most times. And that's because
Wasn't
Paul
he a
Horning did the place
quarterback?
kicking.
What was that, Mike?
Wasn't Paul Horning a quarterback?
No, he was running back. He played some quarterback in college, but not in the
Hey, I'm
NFL.
thinking of Y.A. Tittle. That's right. That's
Yeah, Y.A. Tittle, who was also a great player in that era. Yeah, but Horning not only ran the ball for touchdowns, but he kicked field goals and extra points. Back then, you had real football players.
Just like George Blanda used to do.
Yeah,
too. He used to
absolutely.
kick
Perfect
field goals
example.
and
That is true.
quarterback and everything. You know.
Paul Horning
I
was
think
Johnny
he was the
Manziel.
oldest. I think he was the oldest player in football, wasn't he?
Yeah, Paul Horning was Johnny Manziel before there was. He was,
Before,
he was probably betting on the game too while he was scoring all those touchdowns. So God bless him. But thanks, Mike. It was good hearing from you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
All righty.
Okay.
Let's well before we move on, let's kill a little bit more of this Pirate talk while we were at it. What are they going to do what are they going to do in the rotation now? I'm a little concerned with the fact that they had to pitch Chris Johnson against the Cardinals in a game that was that big. They say they're going to bring Locke back. Buffalo. Listen to me. Altuna's season is over. So starting tomorrow, anybody that was there is eligible to come. That was sent down late can come back. So I think Tony Sanchez will be back to give them a third catcher, and Locke can be back. And I guess they're going to throw him right back out there. And by the way the rotation looks like it's coming down, he'd probably be pitching against the Cardinals. And wouldn't you be thinking more about maybe pitching him in Milwaukee, maybe like on Wednesday, and then pushing Liriano back to Friday and having Burnett Saturday and have it lined up just like they did last week?
I could go for that. My preference is right now to skip Locke again.
Yeah, I would
because they
too.
have that off day Thursday,
is
so
that.
you can pitch Liriano Wednesday in Milwaukee, then come back with Burnett Friday night in St. Louis, and then go with Charlie Morton Saturday in St. Louis, because
Right.
he'll have 4 days rest.
And then and then you're good to go with Cole on Sunday if you want to. Now they seem to tried to avoid pitching Cole against the Cardinals. And then the other thing that's coming into this is, when are they going to shut Cole down? Because I'm sure they will, because they're going to panic. The minute that Matt Harvey went down, they probably came up with a date to shut Cole down, because for some reason they figure if you pitch too much then you're going to get hurt, and there really is no correlation.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, if they do need to throw another starter in there, they got to use Genmar Gomez, don't they?
I would think.
Why do they keep avoiding the guy?
Yeah.
The guy was terrific when he started early in the season. Remember the game he pitched against the Tigers?
Oh,
just shut them
fabulous.
down.
He came on when they got rid of Jonathan Sanchez. And
Oh God, that seems like 5 years ago.
Doesn't it? And he did such a spectacular job till Morton came back. And then Genmar Gomez went back into his long relief role, which, long relief, the other night they used him and he only threw 30 pitches and they took him out.
Exactly. Well, they pinch hit because they were down.
Yeah.
But, you just don't, looking at the schedule, there aren't that many off days left, so you're not going to you're going to need 5. and you may need a sixth guy. And I don't know that they're going to be willing to trust Johnson again. I mean, I'd pitch Johnson again if it was as a long man, and after when their starter got knocked out, I wouldn't have an issue with that. He did a great job against Arizona. We all forget that, but you worry about the.
Yeah, it was quite different yesterday.
Well,
Arizona, he was thrown in there in the middle of the game. Yeah, and he had so much time.
He had days to think about it yesterday, and you could see that it was just he was nervous.
Yeah.
And you can hardly blame the kid, but that's the way it works. So, we'll see what they do with that. But what they need to do is to take care of business in these games against the teams that they should beat. And there's where they've been having problems lately. They've struggled. And they at least finally won a series against the Cardinals, and they haven't been doing that lately either.
Yeah, they lost 2 out of 3 against Milwaukee. Last month they lost 2 out of 3 against the Cubs and Miami before Miami came here and the Pirates swept them. So, yeah, like I say, you got to win those series and then let the chips fall where they may.
And interestingly, and this is the sign of an immature team, that this is the first time they've been through this, is that the game immediately preceding the last 3 Cardinal series they've lost. Yeah. And it's just it's a classic looking ahead thing, which is what they've been doing. Now, the other thing I noticed today, and I thought this was interesting too, is that their hitting woes seem to have subsided a little bit, and it kind of coincided with the fact that their lineup's a whole heck of a lot better than it was a week ago. I mean, if you think about that, it's like Marlon Byrd had a bad day, but they didn't need him.
Yeah.
They have really lengthened it to the point where now you notice Clint Barmas is back playing every day again.
Right. And Martin is batting lower in the lineup instead of cleanup or number 5.
Right. You bat him 7th, but I noticed it with, again, Barmas today, and it's like, uh-oh, the security blanket is back out there because they don't need Jordy Mercer to get hits for them. So I think we'll see more of Barmas in that role if they continue to hit. And I'll tell you what, Walker's been hot with the bat lately.
Yes. He's had a great second half.
He has. And I'll tell you what, he did. He went to Bradenton, to the IMG Academy with all those guys in the wintertime. And Pedro, he was there, and of course McCutcheon's always trained there. And he is in the, you always laugh at that best shape of his life thing. I saw him in spring training, and you could see, because Neil could be a little bit pudgy in the face and carried a little extra weight. He looked as good as he looked like he did in high school. And I think it's been a big thing. I think his conditioning is good, and you see him throwing himself at balls, diving on the to pick up these to get these ground balls, and it's like he must be feeling good, or he wouldn't be doing that. And this late in the season, because guys start to wear out, and you got to be careful with it, especially with that back.
Yeah. That IMG Academy in Florida, they have like a high school age team, and Manny Ramirez's son plays for them. They played Plum this past spring when Plum went down there for a weekend just to get some games in. Remember how horrible the weather was around here in March, but Plum went down there and they played IMG that had Manny Ramirez's son. I think he went 1 for 3 against Plum, if I'm not mistaken.
One of our hangouts down there during spring training is right across the street from the place.
Oh,
and you will see, we saw a couple of the basketball players, and they trained basketball. And it really started with Nick Bollettieri with his tennis. And Nick Bollettieri had his tennis school out of there, and that's what spawned the whole deal down there. And some of the basketball players, this was a few years back, basketball, and you can see 7-foot kids are walking in the door of this place to get a hamburger, and it's like, wait a minute, these guys are obviously coming from across the street. Watching the NCAA tournament a couple years ago, I'm like, I saw that kid at Cherry's, and son of a gun, if they pump him out down there, and they basically, and the Scooter Jeanette kid, the second baseman who looks terrific from Milwaukee, he went there and basically left home, and it's almost like what they do with the kids do in hockey. When they go to Canada and play junior, it's very similar. They leave when they're still high school age, and they go down there.
And they live with a host family.
And they're taken care of, or their dorms, or whatever it is. And it's basically like a college campus. And they have these unbelievable training facilities, and they produce all these guys. And Manti Te'o was training down there when we were there this spring.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, didn't see him though, or his girlfriend.
Or his girlfriend.
All right, we're going to take a break now. We have studio audience people ready to go. Our number is 724-236-0430. If you're watching streaming on a Monday night and you want to give us a call and help us out here on the holiday, you can do that. We're going to get into some Steelers after the break here. I have a feeling. So whatever you want to talk about, though, as Myron used to say, is peachy with us.
Yeah. 724-236-0430. We'll be back with more after this.
Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Resevich family in deepest time of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a fourth generation. The Resevich family serves the AK Valley from two locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square.
There's still time to register for free IRS-approved tax school classes, flexible schedules, convenient location, and fun classes which qualify for continuing education credits. Call Liberty Tax Service of Natrona Heights, 724-230-8000. Liberty Tax Service of Natrona Heights with a full accounting service that's open all year round. George?
And don't forget about my book, Ali Kiski Sports History. It's on sale right now, $19.95 at Costello's Printing in Trenton, along with the Klingensmith drugstore chain here in Armstrong County, Leechburg, Freeport, Katanning, and Ford City. Or if you want to order online, simply go to wordassociation.com. That's Ali Kiski Sports History, available right now. Mike?
We have news, and we were going to talk about the Steelers, so I went to their website to call their roster up, and we have news before we have roster news. The Steelers have cut Drew Butler, their punter. Wow. And they have signed from the former New England Patriot punter, Zoltan Mesko. So now
yeah, we'll have a Zoltan.
We have Zoltan Mesko on the Steelers, and they can do this to him, and it's unbelievable.
If he makes a nice coffin corner kick,
punt,
they can
we're all
give him
going to
the
do the
Z sign.
Zoltan Z. This is all just working. It's one happy family in this city right now. I don't know what to tell you people. And then I had mentioned the enigmatic Isaiah Green before I believe we went on the air. We were talking about how he made the roster. Well, no more. Isaiah Green has been cut, and the Steelers have signed cornerback Antoine Blake, late of the Jags, as Myron used to say. Blake was originally signed as an undrafted rookie free agent by the Jags in 2012 and played all 16 games as a rookie and led the team with 12 special teams tackles. So we know where that was going. Yeah. So Zoltan Mesko in, Antoine Blake in, Isaiah Green out, Drew Butler out. They really wanted Brian Moorman to make the team, but he was terrible in preseason. And he had been with Danny Smith back in the early 2000s when Danny Smith was a special teams coach in Buffalo. So there's that. So you figured they weren't exactly done yet, and there still may be more to go. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, talking about that, Ken Wood's with us tonight, and Ken has done some research on the roster, and we were talking about this Friday night at the Highlands game, and about the drafts and how things have gone with the drafts recently for the Steelers. And I'll let you go ahead, Ken, and we'll just go from there. Welcome back, by the way. It's been a while.
Thank you. September, wonderful month.
It is.
And big family. The Pens start in September.
Right.
Camp soon, yes.
Camp starts. I think their first preseason is September 15th. And if you remember, they had talked about wearing the pirate shirt. So they do have games late September, even preseason, like September 21st, 23rd against the Reds.
Sometimes they like to come out in those for the pregame warm-ups. They might want to do
so
that. That may work out for them, yeah.
I'm hoping they come out in the Bucco shirts. So
and then Zoltan Mesko will be in the crowd and they'll do this.
Yeah. So, as you know, I've been extremely critical of the drafts. Their first rounders haven't been participating after the first, second rounds. They're non-existent. They trade them. They go down. This year, you know, my big criticism is their fourth round. They had 2 fourth-round picks, and their second was a quarterback. Why do we need a quarterback?
Well, I can understand that they needed to take a guy, and they wanted to not groom him to be Ben's replacement, but groom him to be Ben's backup. Well, I'm all right with that. But I thought they should have drafted a good one. So now here's how much I know. I really like Tyler Wilson out of Arkansas. And I think he went like right before they took Landry Jones. And I was very disappointed about that. Turns out, who'd see this coming? Tyler Wilson was completely stiffed out in Oakland's camp, and he was a 4th-round pick, and they cut him. They cut him because Matt McGloin was an undrafted free agent, and he beat him out. And anybody that saw Matt McGloin play thought there was nothing there.
Except last year when there's somebody
when
that knew how to coach.
Well, when there was someone, I heard Corey Geiger on Vinny and Cook show, and he's an Altoona talk show host and writes for the Altoona Mirror. And he said that Christian Hackenberg was going to be okay at Penn State this year because they have an actual real quarterback coach there and a head coach that can coach quarterbacks, and Jay Paterno's gone.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
That told you all you need to know right there. But so Matt McGloin, by some reports that I read, was the best quarterback in Oakland's camp. So I really liked Tyler Wilson, and that's what I wanted him to take, and it turned out that he didn't do anything. They took Landry Jones, who I didn't like in college at all. But your point being, they needed football players.
We're weak everywhere.
Right.
Why? You got 2, trade up, do something, get need. You look at and look at their secondary. Cortez Allen, youngest guy out there that's starting, 3 years.
And then they have Curtis Brown, who was drafted the same year, but if they had depth, he'd be cut. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
He's not good.
Clark's been in the league 12 years. Troy's been there 11. Ike Taylor's 11. And we bring back Gay, who couldn't make it here. And
he's just going to play. He's going to play nickel, and I don't think that's that bad of a choice. I think he'll be all right.
He'll be all right, but he's got.
If he has to start, we got issues.
We got issues. Who backs up Troy? Who backs up Clark?
Well, the safeties are Robert Golden and Shamarko Thomas. Now, they like Shamarko Thomas, but I got to tell you, from everything that I heard this camp, a rookie from Syracuse that they had drafted this year, he was very slow to learn. He's eager, a hard worker, stayed late every day, is in terrific shape. Is a bowling ball. People said that it kind of reminded him he was built the way Bob Sanders was. But the problem was that he was just slow on the uptake, but he got better and better and better as camp went on. But I'll tell you what, if they have to put him out there at safety right now, there's a problem. And I like Robert Golden. He makes some plays, especially on special teams. But if he's got to play from scrimmage, there are issues here.
And we go back to the draft. Their fifth round draft pick, Terry Hawthorne, cornerback, gone. He's not even on the practice.
And here's my question: how bad must he have been that he couldn't beat out Curtis Brown?
So
he was hurt. Now here's the other thing about him: he was hurt a lot of the early part of camp. So I mean, I don't know what that had to do with it, but Curtis Brown was, they say, was their best special teams guy last year, and that's why he made the team. It's the only reason he made the team, because we've all seen it. When you have to put Curtis Brown out there on the corner, there's a problem too. The depth is a problem all through this team, and this is where you're going with this. I think they're 22 starters. If they kept them on the field the whole season, I think they're going to be okay. But the problem is, what do they have?
That just doesn't happen.
They got to fill now the mistakes that they've made over the past X amount of years.
Yeah, I mean, look at the front line. You got Hayworth, who was a number 1, number 2 pick. He hasn't delivered. Ziggy Hood, he hasn't delivered. I mean, for a number 1 pick. Woodley came into camp in shape this year. I mean, you'd expect more from him.
That said a lot right there, didn't it?
Timmons has been their best pick.
Timmons was terrific last year. I thought, and I'll tell you what, I thought Larry Foote had a very good year too.
Yeah, he did. It was a comeback year for him.
I thought he played terrific, and you know, but the other
But how
thing.
many years has Foote been in there?
Like
and there's
See, that's the thing.
Foote's in his 12th.
Yeah.
he's in his 12th, and who's behind him? I mean, that's
Well, they like. I'll tell you what. That's what they say. They like the young guys that they got on the inside this year. First of all, Sean Spencer's the guy they like the most, but he's still on the PUP list. He's still hurt from that terrible knee injury. But Keon Wilson was a guy that came in this year that they liked. And the Vince Williams that it was a draft pick from Florida State. I believe it's one of their 6th-round picks, I think. And he made it, and they liked him the best out of all the young guys that they had in. So, he basically takes the spot of Stevenson Sylvester, which is another guy that you can talk about that was the guy that they drafted that really flamed out and didn't do anything for him.
Underperformer. But
So, you know, they have gotten younger. I did see a stat, though, and this is interesting, that their average age of their backup defensive players this year is actually higher. That they've actually gotten older on the average age of their backup defensive players. Wow. Now, I think that's because a lot of the younger guys have moved up to play. Yeah. Cortez Allen is going to start, you know, things like that. Ziggy Hood has to start. Steve McClendon has to start. So, you know, that'll change that. Some of those younger guys have actually moved up to play. So, you know, and Hebron Fangupo beat out Alameda Teamu.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Where'd that one come from? So, Teamu surprised me. I thought now, this is very interesting. But they cut Jonathan Dwyer. First of all, what do you guys think? What do you think of the fact that
I was surprised. I thought they were going to keep him. I didn't think they cut him. I really didn't.
Ken, what was your?
It didn't really. What surprised me is that they didn't keep him because they need a running back. They don't have. They're so weak at running back. If you can't make it right now on the Steelers roster, that's sending a big message.
I read today. I read a tweet from Mark Caboli from the Trib, who was terrific, and he said that the coaches didn't want to cut him. That's all the further he would go, and so it came from above the coaching staff, and I think it probably came. I'm going to guess it probably didn't come from Kevin Colbert either. I don't know what was going on there with that guy, but I know he was frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he'd have a couple nice plays, and then he'd hold his hand up to come out. You know, you just can't have that. You know, you need some consistency, especially if you look at the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, so I can't wait till Le'Veon Bell gets back, and if some of these guys can actually play this year, then we're going to be in a little better shape.
See, my problem is with the Steelers this year, and I think you two guys might agree with me, that for so many years there hasn't been a need for a number of rookies, this many rookies,
you need to
pan out. You know, usually the Steelers could bring a guy along for a year or two. I remember Leon Searcy was a first-round draft pick.
He didn't even play at all.
He didn't even play till maybe the end of his second year and started his third year.
Terrific
You
player.
can't do that now. Yeah, you got to throw these guys right in.
Polamalu
this first half season in 2004, I got
People
to thinking,
calling him a bust.
yeah, boy, what's with this guy? #1 pick, and then he all of a sudden blossomed. And they don't have that luxury this year.
Well, we gotta go to your trivia, Ken, because we gotta go to a break.
Okay.
But I agree with your synopsis there. What's your call for the record?
7-9.
7-9, okay. For Ken.
I am obviously going to have the most optimistic one, which is very unusual for me because I'm usually the angel of death on these. But we'll see. All right, what do you want to do for trivia, Ken?
Multiple guess.
Multiple choice it is. All right, I'll do this one.
Okay.
Number 3 it is. Who was the first American League pitcher to throw 2 no-hitters in one season? The first American League pitcher to throw 2 no-hitters in one season. Jim Palmer, Whitey Ford, Allie Reynolds, or Walter Johnson?
Whitey Ford.
It is not correct. It is also a Yankee and a man that should be in the Hall of Fame, and I don't know why he's not, and that's Allie Reynolds. That's one of my my 2 Yankees that I believe should be in the Hall of Fame are Allie Reynolds, the Chief, and Thurman Munson.
Munson? Did he play long enough?
Well, that's why he's not, I guess. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, that's
I think he was headed for a Hall of Fame career.
I think he was. Well, I look at it in the Sandy Koufax line of thinking. Yeah. It's like Sandy Koufax did enough in a short period of time. I thought Thurman Munson did too, and he was headed there, but he wasn't exactly sunny with the media either, and that had a lot to do with those things back in those days too.
Boy, you wonder before we go to the break, Mike, how history could have changed. The Pirates didn't think they could sign Dave Parker after the '78 season, so they were going to trade him to the Yankees for Thurman Munson. You know, the Pirates had a need for Ed Ott and Steve Nicosia. They weren't very confident in. And they were going to sign Pete Rose. And Galbraith was going to offer Pete Rose some of his horses from Darby Dan Farms in Columbus as an addition to what, you know, the amount of salary they could pay Pete.
And of course, Pete would have loved that because he could have gambled on them.
Right, and at that point, Pete was starting on his second wife, and he wanted to show her that his gambling was a thing of the past, so he declined the Pirates' offer for not only a salary, but a couple of horses from the Darby Dan collection.
It always tells you a lot about somebody when they introduce their current wife.
Yes.
This is my current wife. So anyway, yes, good for Pete. But Pete ended up going to the Phillies. The Phillies win the World Series. The Pirates actually end up signing Dave Parker, and they win the World Series the year before.
79, yeah.
Kind of all worked out.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take our break. We'll be back with more. We have an open line for you out there if you want to give us a shot. 724-236-0430. We'll take it, and we'll be back.
Husqvarna, taming the wild.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services. Putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Burrell.
At Tower Auto Sales in Blonox, now in their 40th year of service, you have the luxury of choice. When you buy your vehicle, where you buy your vehicle is just as important as what you buy. Call Mike Fanto and let Tower Auto Sales' experienced sales staff help you with the purchase of your next pre-owned vehicle. Remember the slogan at Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. That's Tower Auto Sales, Freeport Road in Blonox. Phone 412-828-6202. Back here on Sportsline, Mike, we have nobody to try our mystery profile yet, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what could be in store?
Exactly. Anybody wants to try the mystery profile, we have a very good one here tonight that we were rehashing, going over before we started. And Mattio's is the sponsor, of course. Mattio's Pizza and Subs in Brackenridge. Everything on Mattio's menu is made with quality ingredients, and that's the reason that people proudly pass on the word about their great food. Hand-tossed pizzas, gyros, subs, hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and more. And of course, the Iron Man hoagie, which of course can feed a small third world country. So Mattio's is located next to the District Justice's office, Carolyn Bengal, and it's on Broadview Boulevard in beautiful Brackenridge, up on the hill. It's in Natrona Heights, really. Broadview is parallel to Freeport Road, so you're right up there in that area. If you're heading to the hospital, it's on the right-hand side, and you can't miss it. They got a big sign out there, and if you're heading over for a Highlands game, which some of us do, that may be a good idea. So we have, we have callers lined up on us now. We want to get to Bob first. Bob is checked in. From the Tattern family Labor Day picnic, I believe. Hello, Mr. Tattern. Good evening and welcome to your. Welcome.
I'm going to make it quick, and I'm happy to hear that you got calls. But you were talking about, what we think will be the Steelers' final regular season record at the end of the year, and I left you 9-7. Let me tell you who we're going to lose to.
Okay.
I have, and this is, my youngest grandson could have picked these, okay? I'm just going by strength of schedule.
Okay.
We will lose to New England, Miami, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Green Bay, and Chicago. Now that's 6.
Right.
We will either lose to Baltimore or Cincinnati a second time.
Right.
So, and the others will be wins over Tennessee, Minnesota, the Jets, Oakland, Buffalo, Detroit.
I'll tell you what, as I look at what you said, And I see 2 on there that I think are wins, and that's where mine's coming. That's where, and that just completely fits right into where I'm going to go. So
you're 9-7 as well.
Oh, I'm 11-5.
Oh, you're 11-5.
I'm 11-5. I think they beat Miami and Chicago. And
I hope you're right, Mike. I'm just, I look at a suspicious, if you will, offensive line. If anybody gets hurt, Big Ben is going to be running for his life all season long.
Well, there's no doubt about that. That's going to be an issue and a half, and hopefully we get to keep him upright. And that's half of the problem. We were talking about the depth with Ken here earlier. That,
I am surprised, by the way, that we don't have. And I know it's difficult to put into words sometimes how much you appreciate a winning team, but we have a first-place baseball team.
Yeah.
And nobody's saying, man, I just feel so great about this ball club this year. I watched almost the entire game. My son, Rob Jr., is celebrating his 25th wedding anniversary today. We had a little bit of a party, and that's what the shindig was all about. But we did see most of the game, and there was a point here and there where you thought, oh, here they're going to work their way into blowing this thing, but they did win. And to think that we have finally put together, and we don't want to celebrate if after we guarantee that we're not going to be below 500, we want the playoffs. But where is that extra vigorish or the hidden vigorish, the green weenie, and whatever else?
Well, I'll tell you what, Bob. I was at the game Saturday night, and I told George when Russell Martin hit that home run, I felt like I had a religious experience, and I'm not kidding.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it's like, and I said, this is really actually happening, isn't it? I wouldn't let myself buy into it, I think, until there, and it was like, okay, this is for real. And by the way, Arizona lost today, so the magic number is 16 to make the playoffs.
Well,
so
what do we have left for the month? How many games?
25 games left. So I mean,
well, 16 is a combination of a victory or a loss of St. Louis, Cincinnati, whatever. So
all right, Bob, what do you want? The mystery profile? Oh yeah, that's right. I guess
you know what? It's a lot of fun creating these things, but I got to tell you,
might know the
sometimes
answer.
I will sit at the computer for a good half hour to 45 minutes trying to come up with one, and what can I say? I wish I could play. I wish one of you guys would come up with this stuff. I think it's one of the neatest things we've ever done with the program is the mystery profile.
Maybe for next Monday I'll come up with one for you.
Good.
Why don't I do that? We'll see if we can come up with that. That'll be fun.
All right, guys. Hey, great program.
Bob, thank you.
Keep plugging away.
Thanks
you
for
got
checking
it.
in.
You know, it's
All
great.
right.
It's not every day you can welcome someone into their own show.
That's right. It doesn't happen very
So that's good. So we have more callers now. Now we've lined up late, and I believe Tony's with us. Tony, are you there, sir?
Hi, Tony.
Yeah, hello, guys.
Hey, Tony, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
We're very well.
Yeah, good.
Very good. No, Pirates are going good.
I picked a bad year to boycott PNC Park, Tony. I'll tell you that.
Well, no, it ain't that. I'm still holding my breath.
Me too. Me too.
And when they get into the playoffs, then I'll go, ah.
Exactly. It'll be well worth. Well, I was going to say it'll be well worth the wait. No,
yeah.
we didn't deserve the torture.
Not this long.
We didn't deserve the torture, but it'll be worth it to know that we stuck with it the whole time, even though we complained about it the whole time. We still watched. So
that's good. That's about time. Let's put it that way.
Absolutely.
But they're still going to go down as the most losing professional any kind of team in history, right?
I think it's okay to break the streak because I think they've set a record that'll never be broken.
Yeah,
that's right. It's like I don't know who. There's some records probably would never be DiMaggio's. I don't think that'll ever be broken.
DiMaggio's might go before the Pirates.
Yeah, Johnny Vandermeer. No one's going to pitch.
No one. There you go.
Not only will no one pitch 3 no-hitters in a row, no one will ever again have 3 complete games in a row.
Hell, they don't go all the way. They only go 7 innings.
So
and no matter how good they're pitching, they yank them. So
yes, sir.
So that's and Steelers 5-11.
5-11. Okay.
Hear about the...
I gave him an extra one. I don't know why, but I gave him 5-11. I was thinking 4-12, but 5-11's good.
Yeah,
it's the same tendencies. Everybody says these are exhibitions. I don't look at it's exhibition or regular season. What I look at is what they do, no matter what the game is, and they keep still making the same mistakes. The player gets twice in a row pushed in the back on the punt returns or kickoff returns. No discipline. The line the same, $1 million quarterback, $1.250 line, and so on and so forth. You know, the running back problems. I don't know. So, and the middle's still wide open. So, it's been there for years. So
it has been. There were
that's
a couple,
what I look at.
You know, and they always say, well, there were young kids playing, but they got beat with Clark and Polamalu in there at least twice this year in this.
Sure.
So they're going to have to tighten. Now, why do they call them safeties again? You know, it's like I thought there was a reason they have that name. They're supposed to be the safeties, and they're supposed to be behind.
There you go. Not all over the field.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Jeez.
So hey, and your team's playing tonight, I see.
We get the Panthers going tonight. I'm really looking forward to the first 8 or 10 minutes.
Florida State. Wow. Did you guys bump up in your first game?
Oh, well, you know what? And I don't have a problem playing it now because you're going to have to play them anyway, and you might as well get it out of the way. And if they're, and you may, and you know how it can be on that first night. you can catch somebody. Yeah. So.
Oh, sure. Hey, anything could happen.
Appalachian State caught Michigan a few years ago, and
it's happening more and more now.
Yeah.
Eastern Washington beat Oregon State. I mean, you know, it's happening more and more. But this will be difficult, and we talked about this before.
You're going to see a little speed tonight, I think.
A little. I'm hoping for a deluge.
Hey, if you have more callers, I better get off here. Let your other callers get on.
What do you want to do for trivia, Tom?
I'm not worthy of the Grand Salami anymore. I hit 24, and it was so long I tried to hit 25, but I blew some that I knew, and I got frustrated. So let's go for multiple choice.
Okay, we'll give you a multiple choice, Tony. Here's an NFL question. I think you'll like this one, Tony. What NFL quarterback recovered the most fumbles in a career? That's a stat you don't see too often, but this NFL quarterback...
After he fumbled or don't make a difference. Go ahead.
Yeah, any type of fumble, be it his own or another running back or one of his teammates. Was it Dave Craig, Dan Marino, Warren Moon, or Boomer Esiason?
Phew. This one I definitely don't know, so I got to go with Boomer.
No, it is actually Warren Moon. He recovered.
Moon. That was between them two, but hey, that's fine. See what I mean? I can't even answer.
He recovered 56
Hey guys,
fumbles.
have a great whatever's left with the holiday.
You too, Tony. Good hearing from you again.
And we'll talk to you again sometime.
Don't be a stranger.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Great. 56 fumbles recovered in his career. Believe that?
Unbelievable. Well, to me, he was recovering the ones that he had already fumbled himself, and Dave Craig was really good at that too, for that matter.
Hey, we got to take a break before we go to our next call. We want to give our callers some time, so let's take this commercial pause, and we'll be back with more on Sportsline Trivia right after this.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
Why do Arnold Furniture's customers continue to come back year after year? Maybe it's the personal touch that the Miller family has provided since 1975. Maybe it's the prices that are consistently lower than the competition. Or how about the selection? 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding, accessories, and so much more. Plus free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. The choice is obvious. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
You know, there's still plenty of time to register for those free IRS-approved tax classes, flexible schedules, convenient locations, and fun classes which qualify for continuing education credits. You can call Liberty Tax Service of Natrona Heights today at 724-230-8000. Liberty Tax Service of Natrona Heights with a full accounting service that's open all year round. All right, we have a caller and we have a studio audience. We have, I don't know, About 6 minutes to go, so we'll try to get through these. We'll go to Rich on the phones first. Rich, good evening, and thanks for taking part of your holiday for us.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Hey, the game tonight, who's going to be the featured back for Pitt?
Well, I guess Isaac Bennett's supposed to play. He's missed just about all of camp with a bad knee, and I heard somebody say today they were going to rotate 4 guys in and out of there. If that's the case, at least one of them won't have a scholarship while he's doing it, because I don't know that they have 4 scholarship running backs.
Unless they move somebody from another position.
Right. So hopefully you can get a good night out of Tom Savage, because if you're going to win a game against a team like this, you're going to need to get turnovers, and the quarterback's going to have a good day. You're going to need to play like they played against Virginia Tech last year, which was a big surprise to everyone.
Together,
pick off a few balls, maybe knock a few loose on special teams, make a play here or there. I just can't say I'm very optimistic.
You know what could be the equalizer tonight? It's starting to rain down here.
Yeah,
that's
raining
right.
Heavy.
I am hoping for a deluge, because that way it might slow things down a little bit.
And as we know, Heinz Field does not take rain very well.
No.
Some of them games last week were called because of lightning strikes in the south there. I don't know if they continued with them, but
they had lightning delays. And I don't know what the rule is in college. I know it's high school, it's gone from 20 to 30 minutes for lightning strikes in the past several years, but I don't know what it is for college right now, so we may find out this evening.
Yeah, we might. I think we should be in good shape high school-wise this year, because we get the first good night in.
Yeah.
And I think the weather will be good all 9 Fridays. That's what I'm going for.
Well, Florida State has a freshman quarterback going tonight, too, a redshirt.
Jameis Winston is his name, and he is a whiz-bang prospect. Everybody loves him, but it's his first game. Now, they said that they like the fact that he's going to play the first game on the road, that there would be less pressure on him rather than being at home in front of the home crowd. So we'll see what happens. Maybe Pitt can make life a little miserable for him. I guess what the strength of Pitt's team is supposed to be is their defense, but I'm still trying to find out where the linebackers are. Yeah. They've had this problem with no athlete. They haven't had any athletes at linebacker since Walt Harris left, when they had H.B. Blades and Clint Sessions and guys.
Tommy Campbell, and he flunked out.
And so show me some athletes at linebacker, I'll feel a little better.
Yeah. Hey, we need to.
Let's get to a question for you here, Rich, because we got to move along here. We're running
I'll say the Steelers are going to be 10-6.
10-6 for Rich. Okay.
Okay, Rich, you're
in
the
book. And I'll take multiple choice.
Multiple choice it is. George, is it me? Is it you?
I had to warn you.
It's me. Okay, here we go. What pro football quarterback threw for the most yards in one game? Most yards in one game. Warren Moon, Boomer Esiason, Vince Ferragamo, or Norm Van Brocklin? Record for most yards passing in one game.
I'll say Norm Van Brocklin.
You would say right, Rich. Congratulations. 554 yards, and that record has stood for many, many years.
About 60 years.
50, 60 years. Yeah. Guys have had 400 and 500. Ben had a big game like that, but nobody's ever broken it. That's pretty unbelievable. Hey, Rich, thanks for the call.
Okay,
appreciate it. Call earlier next week. We'll give you some more time. Maybe we can get into some more things.
Okay.
We have about 2 minutes before we got to hit the road here. Paul's here. Paul was at the. A lot of us. All 4 of us sitting in here were at the Highlands game last week.
Yeah. That's
what do you got, Paul?
Okay, real quick. Get the paper bags ready for this year. 3 and 13.
Ooh.
When they say we didn't get the playbook, but we went out anyway, they're done. But anyway, but next year they'll make the playoffs.
Okay,
So you're looking at a transition year,
right?
So what'd you think of the Golden Rams, Paul?
Much better than the last 2 years.
Yeah, they were. I thought they were pretty good the second half of last year too.
Right.
But a lot of those kids grew up, and hopefully things are looking up for them. But I think it could be a good year.
And I'll be at the Valley Borough game Friday.
Now suddenly that's become a big game.
Yeah.
Both of them won their openers last week, although Burrow was of the non-conference variety. So whoever wins Friday night, that's kind of a statement.
Who do you think, George? I think Valley might have the
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I don't want that to happen, obviously.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, the quarterback lives 2 doors down from me. I'm rooting for him.
Exactly. Oh, that's. I'll tell you what. He pitched one of the greatest games I've ever seen in Little League.
Cody
Wolf. Oh, yes, he did. I'll tell you that. He was something heck of a baseball.
And if the Pirates can stay away from Atlanta and Detroit, I think they can win it all.
We're going to get into this as the weeks go on. As if we get closer to the playoffs, we'll see.
Yeah, you can start pretty soon
gearing up
being
and kind of
able
looking
to
ahead to who they might
look at how things might shake out. Yeah.
So.
All right, Paul.
I'll try mystery profile.
All right, mystery profile, Paul.
No surprise.
Up to jump through this. Clue number 1, Paul. And by the way, the mystery profile is presented to you by Mattio's Pizza, located in Brackenridge Heights along Broadview Boulevard. Mattio's Pizzas and Subs in Brackenridge Heights. So stop by and some great food at Mattios. Paul, here's clue number 1. I was quarterbacking an NFL team in the playoffs when my dad, watching the game on TV, died of a heart attack.
Damn.
Throw a name out there. We got about 30 seconds.
Phil Simms, no.
Oh, Phil Simms? Okay, well, no.
I knew it was.
But next, I was the first quarterback, and this is a $75 question. I was the first quarterback to throw 100 touchdown passes for 2 different NFL teams. So think, Paul, who played well for 2 different NFL teams?
Brett Favre? No.
No, but that good guess. I was the first pro athlete to co-host Saturday Night Live. That's the $50 question.
Joe Namath.
No, not quite. This is the $25 question. I harshly criticized Brett Favre for his indecision on coming out of retirement to return to quarterback Minnesota. I'm emphasizing quarterback Minnesota.
Yes, you did.
Dan Marino.
No. Here's the Tinker Toy clue, Paul. I played most of my career with the Minnesota Vikings and some with, as Chris Berman calls them, the New York Football Giants.
Fran
Tarkenton is absolutely correct. You got the Tinker Toy clue helping you get Fran Tarkenton. Mike, we got to run real quick.
We got to get out of here. Hey, Paul,
Have
thanks,
a good day.
Ken. Thanks for coming. Thanks for everybody that called, making this holiday show work out for us. Thanks to Billy Joe and Bill back in the studio. That'll wrap it up. We'll see you again next week right here on Sportsline. I'm Mike Pavlik.
George Guido here.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toretta and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.